93.3 KCOZ FM,
San Luis Obispo. You're listening to Jeff and Jeremy in the morning
on 93.3 KZOZ.
You feeling that?
I'm comfortable enough with my sexuality to say that I enjoy some Coldplay.
Hey, there we go. I like that. Oh, you always knocked it in the past.
No, I don't knock Coldplay.
It's a bucket list show for me.
I would be a hypocrite if I knocked Coldplay. I'm a fan. I mean, even going back to my college days. That's how long Coldplay has been around.
They've been around a really long time.
Because it seems like they're kind of a new band still.
They're supposed to be one of the best live shows.
I remember I rented a car. First, I had ever heard about Coldplay as I worked downtown Seattle. So a lot of people downtown Seattle, if you live downtown Seattle and you work in downtown Seattle, you don't have a car. So we would rent to a lot of, people that were in their early 20s, working their way up through the professional ranks, and they would want to get away for the weekend and go to a concert. And we have this place called the Gorge Amphitheater in Washington. It's in the center of the state. It's
world famous.
I don't know if it is, but
Brooks and Dunn shot a video there.
Okay. It's about 2.5 hours away from Seattle, and the only way you get there, you have to drive. There's no like shuttles or trains or buses or anything. I'm sure there is, but most people probably want to just take their own car. So we'd rent a lot of cars out, and these guys come up and they're like, "Oh, we're going to a Coldplay concert this weekend," and I'd never heard of them. I was like, "Really?" But they were still a big deal at the time. I don't know. At that time in my life, I wasn't paying attention to what was popular, and I listened to Coldplay because so many people came in and rented the cars, and I was like, this band is a ripoff of Dave Matthews.
Why did you think it was a ripoff of Dave Matthews?
Because the song Yellow was their first hit.
Yeah.
And that song sounds like a Dave Matthews song.
It does?
It does. It totally does.
Yeah, I guess I know a little bit what you're talking about, but I never thought Dave Matthews when I heard it, but now that you say that, Yellow, I can hear Dave Matthews doing that song.
Think about it. The first
Dave
time
Matthews
you hear the song Yellow from Coldplay. Is Coldplay playing? Did they play the Super Bowl last year or what?
No, I think it was a few years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah, it was a few years ago. Last year was Lady Gaga, wasn't it? When she jumped off the top of the building, supposedly.
Yeah. This totally sounded like a Dave Matthews. I thought this was Dave Matthews. When I first heard the song, I was like, oh, this is a new Dave Matthews
What is
song.
this, like 2002?
Oh, my gosh. I think 2000. I think it might be 2000.
Oh, really? That far back, huh?
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, and this was their first song.
I have a friend who's my parents' age, 60s. He's worked in radio for, 40 years. The guy's an old guy, so he's been to a lot of shows. He's lived all over the country in big cities and said this is one of the best live shows he's ever seen.
Probably is.
Look at the stars, look how they shine for you.
See all that different inflection in the voice? I totally thought it was Dave Matthews.
Does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the alternative skinny guy equivalent to Mariah Carey doing the scales,
Right.
Or Christina Aguilera is worse. Christina Aguilera, she holds her hand way up high to show everybody how high she's going on the spectrum. The skinny alternative guy like Dave Matthews or Chris Martin, they will go.
Every time I think of Dave Matthews, this movie ruined him. It was an Adam Sandler movie. I think Brooklyn Decker was in it, and he's on stage. Dan Patrick's up there. He's judging they're in Hawaii. Did you see this movie?
No. I'm not into Adam Sandler movies like you are, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I probably am into him a little too much.
So deep, so beautiful. See, that's the range, right?
I think it's called Just Go For It. Go with it.
That landed Gwyneth Paltrow. You kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Anyways, he's in this competition and he has to pick up a coconut with his butt. And the joke in the movie is that he's gay.
Dave Matthews does?
Yeah, and he can do it.
Not Chris Martin, but Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews.
Okay. See how confusing it gets?
No.
See how confusing it gets?
No, I was just saying, when you used to bring up Dave Matthews, that movie, Just Go With It, totally screwed me up. It was Billy Madison, Adam Sandler, and Jennifer Aniston. But anyways.
Sorry for the Coldplay. The tidal
the
wave.
Coldplay's not bad.
Coldplay this morning.
It's kind of Coldplay time of year. Like music is kind of like drinking for me. It's kind of like whatever I'm in the mood for. And this time of year when it's kind of cold and still
stouts.
Winter-like, and this is a
Stouts and pansy-ass alternative music. That's what we're all about.
Let's see. Coming up on the program today, Budweiser is now been dethroned. It is no longer the king of beers, even though they'll probably continue to tell him that.
What?
And we got the prop bets.
What determines king of beers?
Well, we'll get to that later. Do you want to do this now, or do you?
Well,
want
no.
we're going to get to it in a little bit.
I'm excited to find out a little bit later on this morning. What is the qualifier for the king of beers?
Number one selling beer.
Oh, are you sure about that? I don't know.
So now I just told you Budweiser's not the number one selling beer.
I thought, because remember we were having this discussion in the California Mid-State Fair dubbed itself America's favorite fair this year. And we were like, well, what's the qualifier on that? And I went and I talked to somebody at the fair, and they said, the qualifier is
we just came up with it.
We decided to name ourselves America's favorite fair. I was like, okay. And I was like, and I think I used Budweiser as an example when I was having this discussion with the fair people. I said, kind of like Budweiser's the king of beers. And they're like, exactly. And I was like, okay, all right.
Which Super Bowl is this? Is this 52?
Yes.
God, what is up with this damn Roman numerals? I hate this. Nobody knows how to read Roman numerals.
Very easy.
L to L-I-I.
L is 50. I is 2.
I figured it out because
next year it will be L-I-I.
Why can't they just write 50 on there? Why does it always have to be, for everything, it has to be Roman numerals? It's just so stupid.
Next year, or the year after, you know what it will be?
It'll be 53, Jeff. Yes.
No. Not after 53.
Oh, it'll be L-I-I-I.
And then after L-I-I-I,
it'll be I-V.
There you go. So it will read live. L-I-V.
You're missing my point. I know how to read Roman numerals. Not that well, though. And I just don't understand why they can't just write numbers down. 52. How hard would it to be to write a 5-2? It's actually less.
Tradition.
Takes up less ink than L-I-I.
It's tradition.
Only 2 digits versus 3.
Tradition. You don't buck tradition.
So Super Bowl 52 coming up next weekend. And the prop bet's already coming out. And these ones revolve around our president, Donald Trump. So those are kind of fun. We'll get to those later.
How pathetic can some people be?
I just love food. I love going to restaurants. My favorite restaurant, Applebee's. I love that place. You know why I love that? That's the restaurant with the waiters with all the flair and the suspenders and always happy to see you. I love those restaurants because they cater to fat people. They know fat people are showing up. You walk in, they're like, hey, we took chicken and put cake in it. Is that cool? It's like, oh my God. Is that even legal? I don't think so, fatso, but go by the toboggan. We'll bring it right over. Oh, I love the dessert menu there, too, because it's so ridiculous. They actually take a color photo of the dessert, which is unnecessary. It's a photo, like it had its own photo shoot day. It's almost a fat guy porno mag at that point. And it has a description, like it talks to you, like, hey, I'm Apple Crispy. Hi, I'm from California. This is my sister, Hot Fudge Cake. You can get both of us, fatso.
Dumbass of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
What's that movie you like with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly?
Step Brothers?
Yeah, that's this story right here, okay? These guys are half-brothers. What's a half-brother? What's the difference between half-brother and step-brother?
Half-brother is different.
Same mom, different dads?
I thought so. Same mom, different dads, yeah.
They can't be same dad, different moms.
Stepbrother
right?
would be like if your mother married a guy, like you have stepbrothers because your mom married a guy and he had kids.
They brought kids.
That's
stepbrother.
But if your mom would have birthed the kids, they have half-brother.
They've got to come out with a sequel to that movie called Half Brothers. And in that sequel, they find out that they're not stepbrothers, but they're actually half-brothers. And then they just recycle the whole plot of whatever the first movie was about.
Funny movie.
Still haven't seen it. This is Mountainville, Alabama. Cheesecake, very important in Mountainville, Alabama.
Bama country.
The police down in Mountainville were called to a disturbance at a residence where 2 half-brothers live together. Boy, that can't ever be a good situation. Your dad this, your dad that. Forget mom jokes. It's all about dad jokes at that point.
Your dad's a fat loser, man. Where's he get a job? Screw your dad. He's an alcoholic.
Oh, my gosh. Why don't you guys go live together? This happened at noon the day after Christmas, okay? Basically, according to court records, the older brother went up to the younger brother and he says, "Hey, let me get your opinion on this piece of cheesecake. Do you think it's big enough for a grown effing man?"
That's so Alabama.
And the other guy's like, "Yeah, I guess it is." Now, apparently the older brother was still holding a butcher knife he used to cut the dessert when they began arguing about the proportion the size of it. Now, the victim was the younger brother. Told police his brother punched him in the face and busted his lip.
Why? He agreed with him.
He told him that he felt threatened by the knife that he was still holding. The older brother said he was just holding it and never intended to use it on him or anything. According to the police report, the suspect, the older brother, told the chief that they were arguing over the slice of the cheesecake, but that he only patted the victim on the face and the head like a dog. like when he went up to him, he patted him. Do you want me to do it to you?
No, I know what it is.
Come on, just come over.
No,
Lean over here.
I'm not leaning over there for
Lean
you
over
to
here.
pat my head.
Lean over here. And he said, "Oh, do you think this piece of cake is big enough for a grown man?"
Well,
Patting him
maybe
on
he
the-
wanted a bigger piece of cake.
had it on the face.
That's what it sounds like. What
But
happened?
keep in mind that he was holding a knife while patting him on the face and the head, and who knows what the context of half brotherhood is in this house that they share. I'm sorry, in this apartment that they share together. They didn't know. They thought that the cheesecake may have been one of those no-baked box cheesecakes. I don't know why that's important to the story, but it's in there. Older brother was charged with third-degree domestic violence and harassment for patting him on the head.
He was a bully. He was a cheesecake bully.
He spent 24 hours in
You know
jail.
that's what happened. He had the cheesecake. He had the knife. He cut his younger brother a smaller piece than he probably should have, so he could have a bigger piece because he's probably a lard ass. And then he mocked him for it.
So now I had to look it up because I was like, butcher knife? Who uses that on a cheesecake? Because that seems like a poor instrument to...
That's just a chef's knife, right?
Yeah, but experts don't recommend using the butcher knife to cut the cheesecake.
Oh, what do you use?
Sharp, thin-bladed slicing knife or a hollow-edged knife dipped in warm water because that reduces drag and makes a cleaner cut. So if I was brother younger, because the names aren't released here because it was misdemeanor, if I was the younger brother in this one, I would use that as my defense. I'd be like, I feared for my life because he was holding a butcher knife, and clearly that is not the implement that you use to cut cheesecake. Go to food.com and check it out.
Use a slicing knife.
Also, the best way to cut a cheesecake, did you know this? You're actually learning something from this dumbass of the day today.
I had no idea about the hot water. That's news.
You know the best way to cut a cheesecake? Because you want that reduction of drag? And I know you guys have lots of this at the ready. Unscented, unflavored dental floss.
Oh, and
Also recommended to get the cleanest cut of cheesecake.
Gotcha.
And that's exactly how you just demonstrated
You
it.
take like a wire.
We should do a TV show, not a radio show. You tie it tight.
You pull it tight and you all the way across. Well, just like we had a cheese cutter when I was younger, and it had just a thick wire on it.
Yes.
And that would cut the thinly sliced
How come they don't
cheese.
make those anymore?
And they would do
I
it
don't
with
see
eggs,
those anywhere.
too. Yeah, I don't know. Probably if you go to a kitchen store, maybe. Otherwise, everything's too...
if you would have been standing over him with piano wire tied up between two fingers and asking him about the size of the portion size of the cheesecake, that too would have been menacing,
yeah,
right?
that would have been bad. That would have been bad. What, it was just piano wire?
Hey, food.com says you get a cleaner cut with it.
If you're really good, if you're like Chuck Norris, you could probably just use your shoestrings to do the same thing with cheesecake.
Chuck Norris would not use piano wire. He would use it with a piece of twine.
You know, the problem with the cheesecake is you got the crust on the bottom, and I don't know if that dental floss is getting through the crust on the bottom. That would be a
So I'm saying
concern.
piano wire really
Yeah,
would
you
be the
really
way to
need
go.
something a little bit more.
You need to
yeah.
murder that cheesecake. What is the dumbest fight you ever got into with your brother? Like, what do you guys fight over? Like, when you look back on it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is just stupid. Like, these two brothers, they're going to look back on the cheesecake incident, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe.
Yeah.
I mean, especially
it was
because
Nintendo.
radio shows are talking about it now. And all
Yeah,
that stuff.
it was Nintendo. We had one NES system in the house until we got into this huge fight because I wasn't going to let my brother play. I was 4 years older. It's like, deal with it, bitch. This is your plight in life. I'm older.
You're talking about the original NES, not the Super.
Yes,
Okay.
and I'm talking about Zelda. And I was to the level before the final level of Zelda. It had taken me months to get there. And so I think the phone rang. My buddy Nick from down the street called. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here, dude. So I got on my bike, went over to Nick's house, came back later. I was going to get back on the game, and my name was not in the system anymore.
He had erased your name
Son
out of the system.
He went in there, and he deleted my name.
He deleted
all
your
my work.
profile?
Everything was
Okay,
gone.
listen, I don't know.
And
That
I
might be
about
worth-
murdered him.
Yeah, that might be worth it, actually.
Out murdered him. I was going to push it. I was going to throw him down the stairs. His bedroom was right at the top of the stairs. He was going down. And at that moment on, my parents had a little conference, and they said, all right, Jeremy, we're going to get Shane his own. I go, no, I get the new one. He can. So he got his own Nintendo.
Yeah, you probably would have mowed lawns for like a month in order just to buy him one. So that never happened again, right?
I was going to mow lawns with his face. I was,
We're asking you this question on the 805 Beer text lines, 543-3693. The phone number is also to reach in. What is the stupidest thing that you ever got in a fight with a sibling over, and how far did it end up going? Did you get physical at all with your brother?
oh, many times. But
No,
I mean,
in this instance.
I don't remember that instance doing because my mom was right there because after the yelling went down and
'Cause
I
your blood-
grabbed him.
your blood had boiled
I
to
grabbed
the
him and
point-
I had him at the top of the stairs. My mom came running. Jeremy, what are you doing? Put him down, put him down.
You're dangling him over the
Nope,
balcony.
that's it. He's pushed me too far. I think I was 12 and he was 8. It would have been fun. We're asking you what's the stupidest thing and that you got to fight over with a sibling over.
And how far did it go? Yeah.
How far did it go?
Did you end up causing damage? Or
If
end
my
up-
mom was
or
there?
end up in jail?
He could have been down the stairs. Who knows? Broken arms, legs. I don't know. Maybe
I just
he
had
would
this
have been
picture.
fine.
Were you guys at the house that I knew of, or was it a different?
No, it was a different house. It
Because
was-
I'm looking at all the different possibilities in which you could have inflicted damage on your brother at the house that I knew, and man, there was that. You guys had that big railing and that walkway that overlooked the whole
The balcony.
foyer area, and if you would have dangled him over that, man.
This staircase was just long and down instead of like that one has kind of a landing and then you turn
Yeah.
and you go down. So that would have caught him. This, he would have probably went down, I don't know, 20-something, 30 steps. I forget how big.
Home designers in the 70s must have realized that kids throw other kids down stairwells, and they stopped designing houses with those long stairwells.
Right.
And they had, hey, you know what? Why don't we just switch back this back? Because we're getting a lot of kids with broken arms.
What did you do to your brother, David, or what happened to you?
Well, I didn't have a brother. I had a sister that I chased around the house with a baseball bat.
Uh-oh. That's never good. And dads don't
No.
look kindly on that. Like,
No, luckily, Mom stopped me before I actually beat her with it.
yeah.
What did she do?
It was over a TV show she wanted to watch, and I didn't. Hey, when you're 6,
I know. That's the thing. The unbridled aggression of a child is something that needs to be harnessed and harnessed quickly because it can get ugly quick with a kid because kids are like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just, there's no repercussions at all. You pissed me off
they
for the
don't
last
know.
time.
They don't know.
Yeah.
I would have hit her with the bat if I'd have caught her.
It's a good thing you didn't.
See you later, David.
These two guys I went to school with, there was a guy that was in my class and then his older brother, and we didn't get to really because it was like one of those things where you go to elementary school, then you go to middle school, then you go to middle school, you get a bunch of elementary schools feed into the middle school, and then you go on to high school, just like anywhere. And we met this guy. His name was Giuliano, and Giuliano. He had an issue with his eyes and he had a little bit of a learning disability. We all thought it was from birth. And then as we got to know Giuliano for the 2 years during middle school, we come to find out that it was his brother's fault. His older brother, who was a sophomore when we were in 7th grade, so that he was a senior when we became freshmen in high school. So we went to high school with this guy, and his older brother was big dude, athlete, like popular and all that stuff, until his brother's class got into high school and people figured out what he did to his brother. What he did is they got in an argument as kids, and there was a pool table in their house. He grabbed a billiard ball and went all Randy Johnson with it to throw it at him because they got in an argument, hit him square in between the eyes, and ended up causing brain damage to his brother.
Oh, my gosh.
And made it so he had like crossed eyes and all kinds of bad stuff.
Gosh, that's terrible.
But then once like the freshman crew came in with Giuliano and started spreading the word around the school that, God, this guy was a jerk to his little brother when he was a kid. Everybody that was like friends with this kid as a senior, they started dropping him off as friends because of something he did when he was like 6.
Yeah, well,
to his little brother.
We do that. You do that stuff as brothers. You fight. You set each other up. I remember chasing my brother through my parents' bedroom, and they kind of had this long room with the bed at the end, and I drove down and grabbed his leg and did a trip up like you see a football player do in the NFL. Right. And
slam his head to the ground.
And his head went and it hit the bed frame of the bed.
Yeah.
It cut him open. He had to go to the hospital, get stitches. He had a big goose there. It was really bad. Yeah. It was just bad timing. I didn't want him to, I just wanted to trip him. I didn't want him to hit his head on the bed frame. Corey writes and he says, my brother slept with my son's mom. And yes, it got physical. His brother slept with his baby's mama.
Brother slept. Oh my God!
So they must not have been together. If he says my son's mom, it's not like he said he slept with my wife or my girlfriend.
No, there's this thing that what happens when it's like your wife or your girlfriend, and then she sleeps with your brother. You automatically discount that relationship that you had with her as a wife or a girlfriend, and you refer to her as basically the carrier for your baby.
Yeah, because if this is my ex-wife, but we have a kid together, and then my brother sleeps with her, I'm like, all right, dude, she's your baggage now. Or you know what I mean? I think it would go the other way as well. But
that sucks, man.
If it got physical, maybe they were still together.
That sucks. That really sucks, dude.
5433693.
Sorry for opening this wound there, Corey.
Is Ange. Ange, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys?
Good. Was this a brother or sister?
This was a sister. I'm the youngest of 5, and she's the one right above me, so she's a couple years older than I am. And she obviously started getting into boys a little bit sooner than I did, and naturally, since we shared a room and whatnot, I was quite a brat to her growing up. And my dad pastors a church, and so we live right next to it. And so people would come over to the church all the time and use it for things. Anyway, we had a boy about her age. I think she was about 14 or 15 maybe. And he was over there practicing piano in the church. And I told her, he's over there in the church. You should go and see him. You should go try to talk to him. And I convinced her to go outside at least. And we were home alone with one of my brothers. And our back door had glass on it, like in the middle of it kind of. And so she went outside, and I quickly went to go shut the back door to lock her out of the house.
Oh, God.
She tried to get back in the house at the same exact time, and I shut the door at the same time she hit the door to try and keep me from closing it, and her hand went through the glass. And we both just stared at each other for a second because we didn't know what happened, and then her hand started gushing blood, and we started screaming.
Oh, man.
And it was just a mess. So long story short, she tore some tendons in her one pinky. And she actually had a really hard time playing piano after that. And it stuck in a bent position from here on out. So
wow.
It was a tragedy, but we do laugh about it now, and we maybe from time to time make fun of her pinky, which isn't nice, but it is what it is, and we got through it, and yeah.
Man, that talk about a situation where things just escalated quickly,
right?
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, that seemed like there was no malice there. I mean, most of these stories have some sort of malice to them, or
you were just trying to be funny.
Yeah, you were just trying to.
Exactly. See, you're on my side.
Yeah. I know you got in trouble for this, but it's like, damn, Mom, I'm just trying to lock her out of the house.
Right,
The bitch had to put her hand through the window. It's not my fault. All right. Thanks for the call. Thanks, Ange. Have a good day. Bye-bye. God, that's frustrating. God, I hate it when that stuff happens. It always happened to me. I felt like I was always caught with my foot in my mouth, or I was, doing something wrong, or it was never like intended to be that bad, but it always went that bad for me. Like when I had to send my brother to the hospital when I was just trying to trip him, and next thing I know, he puts his head into the freaking bedpost, and he's got to go get 8 stitches.
Yeah. And then you're like, I was just roughhousing. That's why, the parents would always say, quiet your roughhousing, because it could lead to tendons being ruptured and a visit to the ER. Nobody likes a visit to the ER. I don't know what it was like back in the day on insurance plans, but now I know that ER visit's $150 minimum. I'm not liking that trip to the ER.
I'm sure it's much more expensive nowadays. Dougie says that he was 4, his sister was 7. They shared a room together. He goes, he didn't know what he did, but he walked in. She had a sock full of coins and hit him in the face with it.
Girls can be just as
like that's like some
and the way,
that's like some prison stuff, man. I mean, that's dangerous.
Think about it in life, how it shakes down in life. Okay,
prisoner warfare
in life. Women are more planning. They plan stuff out. Like guys are more reactionary.
That's true.
Like Jason saw his brother, doing something, and then he's gonna react to that immediately. Yeah. Whereas, women or
they'll see it happen.
Girls are like
you just
wait. Like you said, he had no idea what he did. He walked in the room, all of a sudden he's getting hit upside the face with a sock full of change. God, that would.
Who thinks to put change in a sock to make it a club and then hit somebody?
You must have watched a lot of wrestling. Because that's some wrestling stuff right there. Remember
movies
wrestling
that happened in prison?
They used to do that dumb thing where they would go underneath the ring apron, and then they would grab a roll of quarters and they put it in their fist, and then they would take the fist, and then he would hit him with that fist, and it would just knock him out with the roll of quarters, and then like sometimes like he would hit it, and then the quarters would weirdly erupt, and then that would show the fraud that was taking place in the ring. That was WCW, not WWE. That was like hardcore.
I remember that a little bit, but
yeah, I remember like Dusty Rhodes doing that, or Ric Flair doing that, where they would go underneath the.
I was always a chair guy when they grab a chair. Like, yeah, hit that son of a gun with the chair, hit him in the head, take him out with the chair. That was the best. But yeah, they used to do that all the time. And I thought they grabbed brass knuckles or something. I didn't know what they grabbed. You always just see him go underneath there.
The roller quarters, theoretically, you could hide that from the ref.
Right in your hand.
Because those refs must have been the replacement refs the NFL got when the real refs went on strike.
So just remember that.
Because those refs had no clue what was going on.
When you're moving, and you have to move in, and your kids, since you have an older daughter and a younger son, have to share a room, that she might just be fed up with him one day and take him out with a coin full of socks.
Yeah, I know. We're
a sock full of coins.
We're already working towards that. We're trying to find that third bedroom.
They're already brawling a little?
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Jason on the line. He's got a brother. How many brothers you got?
Just one. But we were like a year and a half apart. In age, but probably, he was always twice my size growing up, so it's pretty futile to fight when we would fight. But when we were kids this one time, he obviously got a bike before I did, so I just had a big wheel. And so he's riding back and forth in front of me, making fun of me because I don't have a bike. I'm the little kid on the little big wheel.
Bastard.
So he's riding back and forth in front of me and just heckling me, and I'm just getting madder and madder. And I had a little bit of a temper problem when I was a child. And so I grab this stick.
Yeah.
And I throw it at his bike.
Sweet.
Hit the front wheel perfect. Flip him off his bike onto the asphalt while he's riding by going pretty fast. And so he's just laying in the street screaming. And so I walked into the house and I said, "Hey, Mom, Brian crashed on his bike.
I had nothing to do with it. You might want to go check that thing out."
Oh, so I go to the living room. He's laying on the couch in his underwear. My mom's like treating all the road rash all over him. And he's crying, and then he points at me and he goes, "Jason did this. He threw a stick." And my mom looks at me, he goes, "You did this to your brother?" And I'm just, yeah. He was making fun of me, Mom. She's like, get in your room.
Oh my God, you're an honest kid. I would have said nope and walked into the walked outside.
I would have said, no, I don't know where that stick came from.
Oh, but the one time where I really thought he was going to kill me was, I think this time I probably was a little older, and he was making fun of me, and I was eating something. And you know how when you're a little kid and you go to punch somebody, sometimes your hand, and you hit him with the bottom of your fist? So I went to punch him, and I still had the fork in my hand.
Oh, yeah.
And I stuck it right in his shoulder. And so then I pull it out, and I look at him, I go, I didn't stab you. I go, look, you're not bleeding. And all of a sudden, these 5 little drops of blood start coming out of his arm. And I just ran like hell, locked myself in the bathroom. Next thing you know, bathroom door comes flying in off the hinges. He busted it down, so I locked myself in the shower. He pulls me out of the shower and just picked me up in the air and threw me on the ground like 5 times.
It sucks like being being the smaller one, you know?
Yeah, see, being a single child, all the fun stuff you missed out on.
I know.
All the pain,
man.
all the bloodshed.
He just looked at me and goes, you ever stab me again, I will kill you. And I believed him.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for the call, buddy.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.